Okay, hello friends. Today I'll be going through the elemental strat for m12s part 2. Okay, so for m12s part 2, everyone will be referring to this paste bin. I'm sure all of you will have this link. Then, yep, let's go through the mechs one by one. So, just to summarize, right, m12s part 2 actually there's only 5 main parts. First one is replication, which is the first mechanic, which is as usual the very difficult mech which will keep killing you. Then next is the staging mech. Third is blood mana, which is actually a super easy mech. You can just listen to callouts and mostly pass it. And then the fourth mech is idyllic dream, which is actually super mega complicated. This one is the hard part of m12s part 2. Then the last part is the enrage sequence. So actually if you think about it, right, there's mainly 3 things to learn. Considering blood mana is very easy. Enrage sequence is like there's nothing much to know about it. You just need to learn replication mech, staging mech, and idyllic dream, and you're done. So let's just go through everything one by one. So from the paste bin, right, the first thing, Elemental is using replication Garo. So everyone will start by standing in this formation. Okay, let's look at the clearboard. I'm just changing anyway. This clearboard is using Elemental strat, so okay, the boss just does area and whatever. Okay, so everyone will immediately stand in their positions. Okay, I'm just hitting positional, ignore me. But, so, everyone stands in their positions. Melee will be together at the bottom left and top right. Range will be together at the northwest and southeast in this formation. So, right. Oh, and also, you might need to dodge the orange AoEs. Just react accordingly. Like, if the AoE is going through where I am, right, I need to dodge to the right, for example, to avoid getting hit by it. Okay, so this is actually an information gathering phase. You are just gathering information on where the clones are. So right, the shadow clone will shoot two spread AoEs onto the 2 closest people, and the stack clone will target the closest person and go for a 2-man stack, applying fire resistance down debuff on them. So now we can see debuffs on everyone. Basically, these debuffs determine who you need to bait the clone from. I mean, which clone you need to bait from later. So basically, if you have shadow resistant down debuff, obviously you cannot bait the shadow clone anymore. You have to bait the fire stack guy. So you, in this case, you will notice that the shadow clone is west, the fire clone is east, and then you move to bait the fire clone guy. So everyone with shadow debuff will bait the fire clone. Everyone without the shadow debuff will bait the shadow clone. So everyone with fire debuff or no debuff, you will bait the shadow clone. So here's just a summary of it. No debuff or fire debuff, bait shadow clone. Shadow debuff, bait fire clone. So basically, for me, right, the way I view it is I just see whether I have shadow debuff or not. If I have shadow debuff, I bait the fire clone. If I do not have shadow debuff, I bait the shadow clone. Well, that's how I look at it. It's up to you how you look at it. Okay, so I'm just showing the example, right, of how I view it. So in this case, I'm staring at the fire clone, and I know I need to bait him. Okay, but first dodge sneaking kick. This sneaking kick will always get people, because you're looking at the clone and you're not looking at the boss, and you'll get hit. Okay, so I'm melee, right? I'm looking for the fire clone that will fly towards melee range, and I bait him accordingly. Is this guy? The clone I want to bait is northwest. Okay, so right, the baiting has very specific positions. So as you can see, everyone's in position, which is the range will be in the middle of the white square accordingly, and then the melee will be, okay, let's look at the picture. Here it is. Okay, so from this picture, right, if you just orientate to with the making the far dark guy as new north, or however you want to look it. As a melee, right, I just look for the clone and I bait it because I just need to move closer to the clone, right? So if you are melee trying to bait the fire clone, you are on the middle square, but on the top line of it. So they will be here, right here, on this green dot. Then if you are melee trying to bait the shadow clone guy, you will just be one right and one left on this particular line. Let's see if this video can show properly. It's a bit hard to see. Well, never mind. It's okay. Yeah, basically, with respect to the shadow clone, you will just be on this particular vertical line. Yeah, the positioning is very exact. If you're a bit further or closer, you might accidentally mess up the baiting. For range, the positioning is a bit easier, so to speak. As long as you identify the clone, right, you just have to be in the middle of this 2x2 square in the correct orientation. So if you're the healer trying to bait the far shadow clone, okay, so healer, if you're looking for shadow clone, right, the shadow clone, one will fly here, closer to melee range, and one will fly closer to the wall. So you want to bait the range clone to keep melee uptime. So the healer will go to its left, over here, right in the middle of this 2x2 square, and the range DPS will go to the right square. And then for the other range trying to bait the fire stack, they will be to the left of the fire clone, basically. Yep, so everyone baits it. Then that's the end of this mech. But yeah, it's still very complicated even then. So let's just watch it play out. Boom, 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 boom. Everyone has baited all their clones successfully. Okay. Then the boss does double sobat. For the first double sobat, right, it's the PF standard to face the double sobat north. But the tanks make sure to try to face the boss north as soon as possible. You don't want to make the boss suddenly turn. Like, you want to keep the boss facing north and then take the tank buster north also. Like, for example, if let's say the boss starts casting double sobat, but he's facing south, and then you bring the buster north, it's gonna confuse a lot of people. Okay, but whatever, let's just watch it. So this is a double buster. It can be single inbound also. Then he will, from his initial kick location, he will face any of his four cardinal locations. Then everyone must go behind him. This will be a kick which will give DD. Immediately after this second kick happens, both the two people with the two highest aggro will get like a big circle explosion tank buster damage. So to avoid this tank buster, everyone max melee on the butt of the boss. Boom, see the tank busters? Yep. Meanwhile the tanks just move like boss relative northwest and northeast and deal with it that way. Okay, so then the boss just does AFKs. Oh, so elemental we take for the staging mechanic, we will take D as north. Take D as north. Staging will produce the clones. Okay, so there are 3 parts to staging. The first one is the tether taking. The second one is resolving the initial tethers. And the third part is reenactment. So yeah, I'll just go through this one by one. The tether taking is very straightforward. You just need to see, based on your clone position, what tethers you need to take. Okay, so in this case, with D as true north, the new north rather, I see my clone is northeast. I will know which tether I need to take. So let's see the I can just close these, I guess. Close. Okay. Yeah, we are using, this is the banana codec strat, by the way, in case you're not sure. So with D as true north, right, the true north guy will take the boss tether. Then from northeast to southeast, as well as northwest to southwest, the order is stack, cone, deformation. And then the south guy gets nothing. South guy does not want a tether. So total there'll be 7 tethers. 1 is the the actual boss tether, and then 6 tethers will be from the clones. So yeah, you just see where your clone location, and this will determine which tether you need to take. As for priority, so only the stacks, cones, and deformation will conflict, right? Because obviously the boss tether there's only 1. So right, if you're on the east side, the east side, these 3 people, your tether taking priority is north going clockwise. You see the first, okay, let's say I'm stacked lah. I will look north going clockwise, and the first stack I see, I will take it. Even if I have a stack, let's say I have a stack at northeast, then I see a stack at north, I will just ignore the northeast tether and I will go and take the north tether. Then meanwhile the west side, these three people, their priority to take tethers will be northwest going counterclockwise. You'll just look for a tether like this. Yeah, the tether taking very straightforward. You just need to memorize and take your tether. So let's just see in action. So I know my clone is at northeast, right? I know that I am taking the first stack tether looking north going clockwise. Okay, so as you can see, this is just for my POV. There's a cone here, there's a defamation here. There are no stacks. I need to keep looking clockwise to find my stack. So I turn around. Ta-da, my stack is here. I take it. So right, in this mechanic, you can hold multiple tethers at a time. So you see your tether, right? You just beeline straight to it. Don't worry about snatching other people's tether. They will snatch it back. Don't worry. So yeah, I just go to my tether. Then I try to like not move too much, because I don't want to accidentally run into someone, right? The tether will lock onto you when the boss starts casting Fire, Fall, Splash. That is the next part of the mechanic. So, but anyway, this is part 1. Part 1 is just simply taking the tether. Make sure you take the correct tether. Okay, he start casting Fire, Fall, Slash. Notice the tether has changed a bit. This means that the tether is locked onto you. You can no longer snatch anyone else's tethers. All the tethers are locked. So now at Fire, Fall, Splash, everyone needs to do something different. I'll just show you in the slides who does what. Okay, so this is part 2. Previously was just the tether taking. So basically the stacks and cones go all the way north to the wall. All the way to the wall. You cannot hit the boss. Then the southwest okay, the positioning is based on east and west. So the east stack and cones will be towards the east, of course, and then the west stack and cones will be towards the west. They will all be against the wall. So this is for stack and cones. Then the southwest and southeast deformation will go west and east cardinal to drop their deformation. The south guy is just gonna get deformation automatically. He will be at far south. And the guy with the boss tether, you sit directly in D waymark. So this is what is gonna happen. The 3 deformations. Okay, southwest, the deformation clone from southwest and southeast will end up on west and east to shoot their deformation. South guy blows out his deformation at south. The boss clone tether will lure the boss to D waymark, where he will shoot proteins at the 4 closest people, which will be the stack and cones. Okay, so this is the first part. So let's play it out in action. I'm stacked, so I'll be going towards the north at D. Deformations is all the way against the wall, by the way. The deformations are very big. You do not want to wipe people using deformation. Okay, so I Sukuchi here. I take the protean. Boom. Okay, so first part resolve, and you can see the deformations happen also. Boom. See how big it is? Yeah, you must be against the wall for this mech to be safe. Okay, so but the next part is, so stacks will occur. So everyone move to like the southwest and southeast of the boss to deal with the stacks. Okay, so there will, the boss, like the west people obviously take the west stack, and the east people obviously take the east stack, but there's the south guy, and then there's the boss tether, right? The south guy will move to the right stack, and the boss tether guy will move to the left stack. There are many ways to remember what they do, lah, but yeah, that's the way Elemental PF does it. So besides this simple stack, right, the cones will also shoot. Okay, so how the cones work is, it's actually a gaze mechanic, which will shoot a white laser beam from where they are facing. So how the PF does it is, they will put the cone people at the front of the stack, so that the cones will shoot harmlessly through the boss. So basically, the cone guy is on the hitbox, facing northeast and northwest respectively, then shoot it harmlessly through the boss. Meanwhile, everyone else taking the stack is just behind this cone guy. So let's watch it in action. Immediately after the proteans fire and the stacks defams go off, deal with the stacks. Cone guy in front. Okay, so the cone guy is obviously the warrior here. The other side is some guy is being shady. Okay, stacks happen, and then the cone shoot out. That was a bit dangerous, but it worked out, so whatever. So yeah, that is the first part. That's the first part of this mechanic. Then immediately after he'll do snaking kick. Actually, snaking kick happens during the stack, so it's a bit fast. Yeah, what's the timing? Cone shoot out, snaking kick, rush behind the boss. Not much time. Okay, then the boss will cast reenactment. Reenactment is the third and last part of the staging mechanic. Okay, boss cast reenactment. So everyone once again needs to remember what to do. So it's just a different set of things to do. Is this the correct? No, it's the wrong one. Shit. Okay. Okay, this is the one. So the boss will cast Netherwrath far or Netherwrath near. Wait, no, not yet. Okay, the boss will cast reenactment, but everyone in position first. Reenactment basically, just to explain a bit, it will the mechanic that hit you on with the like the tether mechanic that hit you just now, it will now be applied to your clone. So now you're just resolving the mechanics. Firstly, the boss will cast Netherwrath far or Netherwrath near. This is a 2-man stack. Can be stacked with more people, but in this case it's 2 men. Netherwrath far will be baited on the 2 furthest people, and Netherwrath near will be baited on the 2 nearest people to him. So, how the strat does it, resolves this mechanic is that everyone stands in a set position. So, the set position is like this. The stacks will be inside the boss hitbox, so they will always bait Netherwrath near. The cones will be outside the boss hitbox, baiting Netherwrath far. Then everyone else, which is the 3 defamation people, as well as the boss tether, they will just be on the north, inside the boss hitbox. Okay, so let me just show. Okay, so the boss is casting Netherwrath far. This will go on the warrior and the sage, and the cones will share it with them. Meanwhile, these guys are on the boss hitbox to prevent themselves from baiting anything. But to be honest, when it's Netherwrath near, right, if I'm one of the defamations or the boss tether, I will step outside the boss hitbox to play a bit safe. But that's just optional. Okay, boom. Once the Netherwrath near and far goes out, the next movement can occur. The next movement is the four people AFKing on the boss hitbox have to take the first stack on the left. While the Netherwrath baiters, the stacks and cones, they will need to go and bait their Proteans again. They will do so against the wall. Make sure to be against the wall. You might be out of melee range, but it cannot be helped because when the boss comes down to shoot his Proteans at you, there will also be a small AoE around the boss hitbox, and it will kill you if you are not against the wall. So this is the next movement. Whoa, what the hell is this? Okay, so this is the next movement. The 4 people who were AFK on the boss hitbox now moves to the first stack. The 4 people who baited Netherwrath near and far, who are the cones and stacks, will now be against the wall to bait the Proteans. Then, once the... what's the timing? Oh, right. For the stack, people taking the stack, once the first stack goes off, they can immediately rush to move to the second stack. So yeah, meanwhile, the people baiting the Proteans just don't need to move at the wall already. So yep, that's all for this mech. There's a lot of tiny things which I'll try to explain a bit later. But let's go through it, show it once more. Netherwrath baits. I will be after this. I'll immediately go to the wall to bait Proteans. But I'm greeting GCD, so yeah. Okay, I need to go to the wall soon. After the first stack, I really need to be against the wall. But for now, I'm hitting the boss. Yep, okay. And if you notice, the people took 1 stack. They moved to take the first stack, then the second stack. Okay, watch the 4 people AFK here. Okay, they're moving to take the first stack now. And now they're moving to take the second stack. Okay, just a note, the people moving from the first stack to the second stack need to move quickly because, like I said, when the boss lands to shoot out his proteans, there will be a small AoE around him. And you will die if you eat that AoE. And yep, that's the end of this staging mechanic. Oh, sorry, the stack happens a lot later, but yeah. As an additional note, if you're baiting Nether Flame far, you might get shot by the clone if you're too low. So if you're the Nether Flame far baiter, you must be above the clone near you. Like, wait, I'm gonna pause when the cone shoot out. You see how dangerous it is? Boom. Yeah, it's very wide. So the Nether Flame far person must be above the clone. And that's all. Let me just play through everything one more time, from my POV at least. Okay, so I'm northeast. I know I'm the east stack. I take the stack. I AFK. When Firefall Splash starts casting, I'm gonna go against the wall to bait my Protean. After I bait my Protean, I'm going down to the east to take my stack. Okay, going down now. I dodge Snaking Kick. Okay, then we wait for reenactment. While waiting for reenactment, everyone in their pre-position spots. By the way, apparently reprisal doesn't work on the stack clones, so good luck healers. Okay, reenactment, I'm just hitting positional. Nether Rough far, I'm just very chill. I just move out a bit because it's whatever, I'm not baiting anything anyway. Okay, I take the Nether Flame and I move to the wall to bait Protean. Once the Protean fires, my job is done. Okay, job is done. Meanwhile, they take a last stack. Boom. Okay, mechanic completely done. Next is blood mana. I press forward too much. Okay, blood mana is very simple because basically the whole thing can be called out. The boss will start by casting mutating cells. When he finishes the cast, you must pay attention to your debuffs. Okay, this is row base. Yeah, so 2 people from your row will get alpha, and 2 will get beta, and the same for the other row. So what these debuffs mean is, if you are alpha, you cannot take damage from any source, or you will take damage and get DD. For beta, you must take damage from any source, or you will get damage and DD. As in, take damage while, like, during the time before it expires. So this applies to tank autos also. So right, if let's say you see this and the warrior is tanking the boss, there needs to be a tank swap immediately. Because if the warrior takes damage here, he will get DD and damage. So yeah, we want to avoid that. Okay, he will cast blood mana. Okay, at first glance this looks very complicated, but it's actually super easy and someone will probably call it out for you. Do not worry about it. So just to very quickly explain, the green donut and the orange candy, they are both some form of donut. So they will basically, they are the safe spot, I guess. Okay, my explanation is not good, but it's okay. So the purple and the blue are some form of chariot or AoE around the black hole. The black hole is sucking up this candy, and the order in which they suck up the candy will determine the order in which these mechanics happen around this black hole. Yeah, so the easy way to look at it is, okay, so there will always be 2 black holes, and one of the black holes will have all 4 shapes in a, like, equidistant from each other in like a rectangle, and the other one will have 2 shapes which are very close to each other. So you see this blue and purple, they're closer. When you see blue and purple here, you know that the betas must go and eat the candies on the other side. So like, if you see blue and purple are close on the west, you know that you need to eat blue and purple on the east side to resolve the mechanic. So how pucks do it is, they let the non-tank betas, they go and eat the south candy, which in this case is blue, and then the north beta, the tank, will go and eat the north candy, which in this case is purple. He'll eat it alone because it's a stack. So let's just see the eating in action. I'm alpha, so I'm AFK actually. Okay. But in this case, you see orange and green must be eaten. So green is bottom left. Can't really see from my POV probably. Okay, it's eaten. Okay, so once you eat the candy, right, be very careful about walking back to the boss because as you see, the blue candy is being sucked into the black hole. If you walk in a straight line towards the boss right now, you will probably eat the blue candy and die. The damage from it is very massive. So yeah, just be careful of that. Okay, then the debuff switch. Well, it's mainly you need to take note for the tanks mainly. Okay, so where's the safe spot? Basically, the safe spot is when you eat a candy, when you bump into it, you will slow that candy down, which makes the black hole will suck up the mechanic later. So as I said earlier, the green and the orange shapes are actually some form of donut. So if you eat the donuts first, you delay them, and thus they will happen second, which means that beta is the first safe spot. Okay, if you don't understand this part, it's not important because someone will definitely call it out for you, and the tank will lead you the way. If the tank is wrong, everyone's gonna die anyway, so you don't need to care actually. So basically, on the right side, the donuts will be eaten first. So for the right side, the donuts will happen first, then the big AOE will happen. So right side save first, then left side save. This is what happens. Okay, they eat the candy and then they safely walk around. Don't eat extra candy. Okay, once all the candies are eaten, there's plenty of time to hit to beta the safe spot. I'm just hitting positional because there's so much time. During this time period, you can check your debuff also because they swap. So now later on, I need to take damage. Later on, the alpha doesn't need to take damage. The safe spot will always be north and south of the black hole because the orange candy shoots beams on east and west. So you can see here. Okay, so just note there's a donut effect, right? The donut is relatively small, and east and west is always unsafe. So the safe spot is always north and south of the black hole. Immediately after this occurs, run straight to the next safe spot. Then double check your debuff to make sure what's going on. The boss will cast Netherworld near or far again. So check your debuff. If you are beta, remember you must take damage. So we do this. If it's near, the betas go under the boss. Just like this. Directly under the boss. The AoE is not very big. If it's Netherworld far, the betas will be in front of the boss. Because the boss is being dragged, right? So yeah, being in front of the boss makes sense. So if it's Netherworld far, the party is in front of the boss. Sorry, the betas are in front of the boss. The alphas will go under the boss to avoid getting hit. And then after this will be AoE into double sobat into idyllic dream, which is a painful sequence, so the healers need to take note. Okay, and that's all for blood mana pretty much. Okay, let's go on to idyllic dream, which is like generally a nightmare. Okay, this mechanic is super complicated. Let's close this, close this, close this. Okay, so this is a quick summary of what happens in idyllic dream. I will go through idyllic dream like step by step. Okay, idyllic dream is cast, nothing is happening. The boss will cast staging. Most of the party don't need to pay attention to this. The boss will throw out cardinal or intercardinal. This does not affect anything until 3 minutes later. But someone will pop a macro. So right, this is one of the macros to press, the macro timing. Someone has to press cardinal or intercardinal macro to let the party remember later. Okay, but never mind, just keep better in mind for now. Don't need to think too much about it. Anyway, someone will press it, so most of you do not need to care about it. Then your clone will spawn. So this is the first part, which is basically info on player clones are given. Okay, I'll explain to you the tether swaps later, but there are two different ways you can approach it. You can approach it via using cheat sheet, or you can fully understand it. But basically, depending on your initial location, it will determine what you need to do later. So right, how Okay, so if your clone is at A or C, let's just give one example, okay? If your clone is at A or C, later on you will head to the red waymarks and then grab stack and then grab a stack marker. Yeah, there are two ways to look at it. Either you use cheat sheet or you try to understand what's happening. I'll explain to you when it's time to take tethers later. Okay, but first let's move on for now. So, what am I? Okay, I'm at 2 waymark, is it? Let's see. Yep, I'm at 2 waymark. So, from the cheat sheet, right? What I'll need to do is later on I will go to the purple waymarks and I will need to grab a stack. So just to explain very simply, later on I will go to D and 4 waymarks. The mechanics always alternate and I'll find a stack. Yeah, so this is what the cheat sheet is for. The cheat sheet tells you where to go and what to take. But let's come back to that later. Okay, Twisted Vision. So he's gonna give us more information again. Now he is giving information on the 3 Lindworm clones. Nothing is happening. He's just giving us information only. Okay, so I'll explain to you the pattern, but you also don't really need to know the pattern, to be honest. As long as the shot caller knows what he's doing, that is what's important. So for most of you, right, you actually do not really need to understand what's going on. But you need to remember that the northwest and northeast will be the first safe spot. So I'll just quickly explain to you the pattern now. The middle clone is always doing a big chariot. Then the north clone is always doing north-south safe or east-west safe, and the south clone will be opposite. So basically the north clone and the south clone will be doing opposite types of AoEs. So the two patterns will either be northwest northeast safe or southwest southeast safe. But like I said, most of you do not need to remember this. The shot caller will need to remember. I'll explain what this is all about later. Okay, he casts Twisted Vision, which will bring us back to the tether taking. So here's the randomness. Okay, so if you use cheat sheet, you don't even need to know what's going on. You just need to take your tether. So remember, based on my cheat sheet earlier, I'm going to the purple waymarks and I'll take my stack marker. Okay, so my job here is done. The difficulty is firstly understanding what tether you need to take, and then remembering what is the significance of taking this tether later. Okay, so let me quickly explain the significance of taking the tether here. So as you can see, right, the Lindworm clones actually spawn in a very specific order every time. So they spawn from north to southeast and south to northwest. Yep, they spawn in this order. Just don't care about the stack and defam now. Just look at the 1, 2, 3, 4. So the north and south clones will always be 1. The north, east, southwest clones will always be 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Okay, if you... Yeah, this is the order in which they spawn always. Which means later on in the stack defam mechanic, or the defam stack mechanic later, the north and south clones, the north and south tethers will always resolve first. Then second, third, fourth, in this particular order. Okay, so this is very important if you get defamation. If you get defamation, right, you need to remember how to move out later. Oh my god, the explanation is hell, man. It's very hard for me to explain actually. But okay, I'll go to that. I'll reach that mechanic first, then explain what's going on. But for now, you just take your correct tether, and then we can proceed from there. So yeah, with the cheat sheet, you can use the cheat sheet to find out how to take your tether basically. The first step is to take your tether, because then how you resolve that tether later, we'll talk about it later. Okay, so just take your tether first. Don't need to think too much. But the things to remember is actually firstly which light party you're at. So remember I explained to you that the clones spawn from north to southeast and south to northwest. So right, this will determine like the light parties for the upcoming mechanic. So if you're in this party, north to southeast, you'll be in the east. You'll be the east light party later. And if you're south to northwest, you'll be in the west light party later. Okay, I'll talk about it later. But this is what you need to remember, whether you're in the east or the west light party. And also, if you have deformation, right, you definitely need to remember what's going on. Yeah, okay, so let's proceed first. Okay, he'll do Twisted Vision. Very quickly after the Twisted Vision cast finishes, the three Limworm clones that appeared earlier, they will shoot out their AoE. So if you remember, northwest, northeast is safe. The shot caller, just remember call it out early. Like before the Twisted Vision is cast, tell people to lean towards northwest, northeast here. You go. Very fast. This is very fast. Boom. Okay, so now will be Limworm's Meteor. It hurts. Be sure to mid. Okay, let's quickly talk about the Meteor phase. So the Meteor phase, right, there he will split the party into two platforms. We'll do this in the true light party. So for example, D1, H1, D3, MT is on the left platform and everyone else is on the right platform, the usual. Okay, stay in the middle a bit for heals and mids. Then everyone will spread into this formation. So the formation is very straightforward. Facing the boss, the usual supports on the left, DPS on the right, melees in front, range at the back. So it will always be in this formation. It looks very overwhelming, but this is very straightforward. This part is very straightforward for now. Make sure to stay spread out because the boss will cast light debuff Valm on everyone from the same row. Like for example, he will target everyone with the DPS or everyone that is support with that debuff. And it's AoE, so you cannot stack up. Boom. Okay, so he hit all the DPS. If you notice, this gives a light down debuff. This means you cannot take the multi... If you have light down debuff, you cannot take the multi-colored meteor. Excuse me. So there are 4 types of meteor. You see the pyretic? This fire meteor is just one color only, right? Yeah, so this purple meteor is multicolored. If you have light debuff down, you cannot take the multicolored meteor. So just for it, like just to posture with your partner, we switch meteor. Because later on when the meteors actually happen, these are the meteors we will be taking. Because the warrior has no light down debuff, he can take this meteor, but I cannot. So I will have to take the earth meteor. We are just swapping meteors. I'll explain what the meteors do later, it's okay. Let's proceed for now. Okay, so now this is the tricky part. This is where all the tether swapping comes in. So if I recall, actually I totally have no idea. I think it was defamation first. Okay, I'll just show very quickly one sequence. It will based on the tether that's on north south, like it could be defamation or stack. That will be the sequence of the mechanic. So if it's defam first, it'll be defam stack. Or if it's stack first, it'll be stack defam. So this is defam stack. I'll just show you the sequence. Since I'm a stack, right? Stack's row is very chill. You just literally AFK here all the time. Just watch. I'm just AFK. So now it's stack. Defam. Stack again. Yeah, I'm fully AFK. Okay, so okay, now I explain to you what the tether taking is all about. So, here's the important thing for the relative light parties, right? You must remember your light parties. So if your final tether is north to southeast, the final tether, not your initial clone location. If your final tether is north to southeast, then you are the east light party. If your final tether is south to northwest, then you are the west light party. This is super important to remember because if you mess up the order, right, as you can imagine, 2 stacks might end up on the east side, then it's just straight wipe. Or 2 defam is going to go one side, then it's just straight wipe also. Or the stacks are going to end up 5-3 or some nonsense like that. But basically, it's very important to remember which light party you are in, relative light party, just for this mechanic. And it's also very important to remember whether you're stack or defamation. Okay, so stack, you're just AFK lah. That one is easy. But if you're defamation, right, let's say you took the tether at north and it's defamation, you are first defamation. You need to remember and immediately go out when it's time. So basically, defamation is important to know the order of your mechanic and when to go out. Yeah, pretty much like that. Okay, so this is the preposition. If you follow the cheat sheet, right? Yeah, this is like basically my cheat sheet lah. But I put it in a different way. It's the same thing, but I just wrote it in a different manner. So it's up to you how you want to remember. So if you are the number one defamation, right? Yeah, basically you need to know when your defamation is going to go out, and then you go out accordingly. So remember what I said about the clones forming in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, and 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. So if you take the defamation, right, you need to remember when your mechanic is happening. Wow, it's a bit hard to explain. But so if you take the defamation at west, for example, if you take the defamation at west, then you need to remember that you are the third mechanic that's happening, and you are the defamation that's happening on the third mechanic. So let's say, for example, let's say you took the third defamation here. Yeah. Okay, this is the first defamation. The people remember and they moved out. Then the second one is stack. If you're the third defamation here, you need to remember to move out at this moment, because your defamation will go off. So you go out. Yep, okay, that's pretty much how it goes. You need to remember your light party, super important. And you need to remember whether you're stack or defamation. Those are the key things to remember. And it sounds a bit complicated, but when you're done with this, you're done. So it's okay. Okay, next, after stack defam is over, you'll go back to your meteor phase. So you have to remember which meteor you're taking. There isn't much time. Like he will send you back. So I remember I swapped earlier. I remember I'm taking the Earth meteor. Okay, now it's time for me to explain what all the meteors do. Yeah, it looks a bit overwhelming, but actually it's quite straightforward. Actually, this POV a bit hard to see. Let me just explain from just now. Okay, so I'll explain the meteors one by one. This is the purple meteor is the Doom meteor. The Doom meteor will shoot a laser beam at you from the center. So if I'm taking the Doom meteor, right, I should be like standing here, for example, to make sure the laser beam shoots outwards. If I'm standing at the front, right, it's going to shoot across and shoot everyone, and then there'll be a lot of dooms to Esuna. Okay, so this is Esuna, and the healers will need to Esuna the dooms, basically. I think only Bart can Esuna otherwise, but yeah, is this a healer job? I'm not sure what PFs do for this, but I think in the groups I've seen H1 do it from top down, the first Esuna, and H2 does the second one from bottom, the first one from bottom up. So yeah, that's the Doom meteor, just aim it outwards. The pyretic meteor, if you get hit by it, you cannot move, but you can GCD. So basically you can do actions, but you completely cannot move. So you just need to stay put, sit tight, and wait for things to pass you. I don't have any... Wait, I'm just waiting for myself to move so that I can see the other meteors. Okay, this is the arrow meteor. The multicolored meteors may look like very menacing, but you just need to notice the green part and the purple part. That's the important thing you need to remember. So the arrow meteor will punt you over to the other platform. So it's similar to the M11s towers. Where you get punted to is based off the center of the tower. So make sure you are like at the front of your tower and facing the center of the other platform. If you are outwards by a little bit, you'll probably fly away. The aero meteor, I've seen a lot of people fly off. It's a bit dangerous. And then the earth meteor will leave a twister. Like after it lands, right? I think like 5 seconds later, a big rock will appear here and give DD and massive damage to anyone who is still standing here. Okay, so let me just go back to the meteor phase and just get a quick look at how it's done. Okay, Earth Meteor is very simple for me. I just take it and I move away immediately. So I'm Earth Meteor, my job is simple. The moment it lands, I move. Okay. Just have a quick look at the Doom Meteor. See the warrior position the laser beam outwards. This is good positioning. Yeah, it's shot very cleanly away from other people. And then he gets Doom, which the healer will SNR later. So as the Earth Meteor, my job is simple. I just move away from the Earth Meteor. Okay, so there's a thing about the Earth Meteor, right? If you're the Aero Meteor, you'll be flying over to the other platform. You might be unsure where the Earth Meteor is. So there are two ways to handle this. The first one is you follow people. Because obviously these people know where the Earth Meteor is. They are not gonna stand in the middle of it. That's one. The second method is you just go to the middle and a bit in front. You will never get hit by the twister that way. I'll just show you the twister. Yeah, being at the center is actually safe. So if you're towards the front, right, for example, you will never get hit by the front twister. So you can do that. Okay, so immediately after all this resolves, now is the Wicked Thunder mech. If you look at the debuffs, right, I think yellow debuff just means that you cannot be shot by another laser or something. Well, it's not a big deal. This orange debuff means that you will shoot a laser towards the closest person, and this far debuff means you will shoot a laser at the furthest person. I'll just show you how it's resolved, then I'll explain how Elemental does it. Boom. Okay, it looks complicated, but it's decently straightforward. So how Elemental does it is this diagram. Okay, this diagram looks like a mess, but trust me, it's very straightforward. Okay, let's talk about the Aero and the Doom first. So the light aspected meteor is actually the thing that gives you the laser debuffs. So if you're Aero, right, you will just stay at the middle. You'll stay on the boss hitbox and in the middle. Then if you are the Doom meteor, you will head towards the north. You'll stay on the boss hitbox, but head like towards the edge of the platform. So their formation for the Aero meteor and the Doom meteor is very set in stone. Okay, then besides that, there will be two people on the platform that's left, right? They will both have light debuff. One of them will be range, and one of them will be melee. Excuse me. So the range guy, your position is set in stone. If you're the range guy with light debuff, you just always head straight towards the south of the platform. You will be baiting the far laser this way. Then if you are the melee guy with light debuff, you'll be standing like around here, such that basically this is like the brain dead strat. So you don't even need to look who is the close laser, right? But you are baiting the close laser guy. You'll be standing at a position like sort of between them, but outside, so that no matter who is the close laser, you will still bait it safely out. Which is, yeah. I think it's relatively self-explanatory, actually. Yeah, so you look at my position. Wait, let me just go back. Just before I fired, I guess. I dodge the twister. Okay, the moment the twister happens is like roughly when the pyretic ends. So once the pyretic ends and the twister happens, obviously everyone is free to move, so they move to do their baiting already. So my thought process is, I don't know who the fuck is shooting the laser. I'm just standing at a position where I can bait both people safely. Yeah, so that's my thought process. Then, yep, it just fires and that's all. Okay, this is the biggest white point of the meteor phase actually. Like a lot of times the lasers go awry and then like 2 to 5 people die. In which case you healer LB and you try to clear with whatever DPS you have left. So And other things that can go wrong is people often die to pyretic, people often die to arrow. Yeah, so arrow you need to aim properly, and pyretic make sure you do not move for the full 5 seconds. It's very tricky because you want to move to bait, but you can't. You really need to sit still and hold on, and then yep. Okay, next the boss will do some things which most of you do not need to know. Just the short caller need to big brain and remember. Okay, so the boss will cast Temporal Curtain, which will suck up either the north or the south clone from earlier, remember? He will suck up either the north or the south clone, and you need to remember what type of AoE he's doing. Okay, then the chariot guy, this is the chariot clone, and the south clone, I mean the other clone, the third clone, will fly to one of the islands. So the chariot clone just flew to the west island, right? West island is unsafe. Later on, everyone has to go to east island and dodge that clone AoE. I'll talk about easier ways to remember it later, lah. But for now, you'll just see in action. Okay, so this is where cardinal or intercardinal comes into play. So let's just play for it and see where is it. This is cardinal first. Yep, so remember the very first macro to be used earlier, cardinal, intercardinal. This will determine where the stacks are. So with the puck strat, right? Hold on. For this puck strat, the DN strat, if it is cardinal, the stacks will be on north and east. If it's intercardinal, the stacks will be at northeast and southeast. You do not need to really think why it's like that. But basically, if the tether swaps were done properly in this fashion, this reenactment will always set up the stacks to be like this. The safe spots will always be like this. So you don't need to try and figure out why it's like that. But yeah, it's rather big brain to be honest. Okay, but that's not important. So in the clear void I have earlier, is cardinal first. So party will stack at north, and the tanks will two-man stack at east. It's a bit different in this particular clear void because the tanks said they were not confident in, they weren't sure what mids to use. So they decided to just do 4-4 light party. 4-4 light party, I mean, is up to you guys lah. But yeah, it can be discussed basically. So they'll stack at east and north. Normally in the puck strat, 6-man stack at north, and the tanks 2-man stack at east. Okay, I'll show you the how big the AoE is. It's actually fucking big, so be careful. Okay, so here are the rules of thumb, right? Because the safe spot is north and east, make sure to lean a bit inwards, like towards northeast, you know. Because the deformations will come at the other cardinals, come from west and south. If you are the rules of thumb is to be behind the clone and to be leaning slightly towards the other stack. If you are leaning towards the deformation at all, or you're in front of the clone, you are dead. So yeah, those are the rules of thumb. Okay, then later on will be, so if it's cardinals first, later on will be intercardinals. This means the stacks will be at northeast and southeast. Basically both mechanics will happen lah. Okay, then remember the safe island is B. He'll cast Twisted Vision again. If you are not on the correct island, you'll just fall through the floor and die. Then someone give the call on what's the AoE, because I totally don't remember. Okay, now in the cut stacks. Okay, once again, you see my position. I'm behind the clone and I'm leaning inwards. Do not lean towards the deformation at all, or you will die. Okay, immediately after this, the clone he sucked up earlier will teleport in and cast his AoE, which you need to remember by the way. Ta-da! Okay, yeah, that's the end of Idyllic Dream. If you have reached here, congratulations. You're going to probably see Enrage. Then, or you might clear. So, yeah. So, the Enrage sequence is double Sobat. double sobat into, he'll just replicate Arcadian Hell, replicate Arcadian Hell, replicate one more time, and then the last Arcadian Hell is enraged. So yeah, that's the situation with this boss. I heard that reprisal does not work on the clone, the Arcadian Hell from the clones. So you guys will need to plan your mids accordingly for these two. The next Arcadian Hell is more painful because now there are 8 clones casting their small Arcadian Hells. But anyway, let me go back to how you should set up the macros. So right, these are the macros that the main macro guy should use to help the party out. First one is cardinal intercardinal. This will tell the party where to go at the start of the very last mechanic. Then northwest, northeast, or southwest, southeast save. Stack or defam first. So a note about stack or defam first, right? During the meteor, the part where they are giving information on the meteor, you should immediately be saying stack or defam first because there isn't a lot of time. Let me just show you. Yeah, see, if it's defam first, right, they have to go out immediately already. So as Twisted Vision is casting, the shot caller should call stack first or defam first, and everyone will move quickly. Sorry, not everyone, but yeah, especially if it's defam first, the defense need to move quickly. So the shot caller around this time should call defam first or stack first. The defam people, if it's really defam first, they have to orientate to where is north and go quickly. It's very common for proggers to get lost here and just the defam just get lost and explode. So remember, the stacks are always southwest, southeast, max melee as much as possible. Then the defams is northwest, northeast, directly against the wall. This mechanic is way too dangerous to greet. Do not greet this whatsoever. Okay, so that's the timing. So this is why stack or defam first is important. Then the last one is away from boss or under the boss. So just to quickly explain what I mean by this. Because the clones will always be opposite, right? So somehow the call out away from boss or under the boss will work. So for this example, the call out will be away from boss. So obviously on the platform you just move away from the boss. Logically this is the safe spot. Then later on it will be away from boss again. Yeah, you cannot be under the boss. So right, to illustrate under the boss, the AoEs are complete opposite. So if it's under the boss, right, the safe spot is like you literally go to the front of the boss. Over here, this will be the safe spot. And then similarly for the last one, if it's the callout is under the boss, the safe spot is literally directly under the boss. You will be safe from the AoE. So yeah, this is a callout which will affect both clones. Okay, so let me just give some tips on how to set up the macro. Okay, so this is how I set up my macro, but you can choose to do it your own way lah. So this is my macro for DN waymarks. For DN waymarks, my own personal so for me, once I take my final tether, right, I mean I did this when I was progging, but now I can remember it without pressing it, so I took it off my bar. But okay, so let's say 4 is my final tether. I'll press this macro and this will show up. /E means it shows up as an echo, right? Which means only I can see it in my party chat. So let me just use the macro, execute. So it says west slide party and 4th mech. Because remember from the clones, the Limon clones spawn from south to northwest, north to southeast, and south to northwest, right? So I press this, I know that I'm the west slide party and I'm the 4th mechanic. Yeah, this is the information I want basically, so that I can resolve my stack defam later. Additionally, if I'm defamation, I press this so that I can goddamn remember. Boom, you are defam. So if I don't press this, right, I just remember that I'm stack, and I'm just ping chilling on the southwest or southeast forever. Okay, then these are the macros for the clones. So how I do it is, this is my system of remembering. Okay, so this one I think only the shot caller needs to know. But this is how I remember it. So when I first see the 3 Limworm clones shoot out show their AoEs, right? I press either this or this. See, this is northwest, northeast save later, and this is southwest, southeast save later. Then I have two macros below. Basically, I already figured out the logic. Like I figured out the logic beforehand, and I just need to press the macro later to give me the callout. So this button, this arrow, is for if the north clone gets eaten by the portal later. I just press it, tada, away from boss. Conversely, if the south clone gets eaten later, the callout will be opposite, right? So yeah, this is my system lah. Basically, I just remember whether it's southwest, southeast save later or northwest, northeast save later, and then based on that, I will once the clone gets eaten up, I will know which one to press. And that's pretty much all. I think my explanation for the tether swapping was a bit sus, but if you're not sure, you can just come to me for any questions. I'll try to reply ASAP. And I think that's about all for the prog. Make sure to do your mid sheets up properly. Anything else? I think the 2 minutes after the second 2 minutes, right, is somewhere during the staging mech where people are out for defamations. My suggestion is, okay, what most people do is they buff after everyone gap closes back from the defamations from staging. But Nukemaru suggests you 2-minute buff during sneaking kick. So what you do, that's up to you guys to decide lah. But yeah, okay, I think that's done for my elemental strat review. All this is true as of 28th January 2026. So maybe some people might change the strat, I don't know. But for now, it's like that. Okay, let me just quickly run through once again from the start to finish the whole of idyllic dream sequence so that I can point out everything that needs to be remembered. Okay, idyllic dream is cast. Staging. So on an individual level, at this point, the shot caller pressed the macro to call Cardinal and the Cardinal first. On an individual level, I see my clone is here, so I figure out where to pre-position and which debuff I'm taking later. So since I am 2 waymark, later I'll be at purple waymark taking stack debuff. Sorry, stack tether. Okay, the 3-limb clone spawn, nothing's happening, just information being given. Northwest, northeast safe. I just press my macro for everyone to see. Okay, I go to purple, looking for stack clone. So I remember that I'm on the west light party. I'm the 4th mechanic. Okay, since I'm stacked, I don't need to remember I'm the 4th mechanic, but yeah. If I'm defamation, I will definitely need to. Okay, dodge northwest. We go to true light party. Remember to mid this, it hurts. Stay a bit for heals. Okay, then spread out to your towers. To your default spots. Check who gets the debuff, and then posture with your body to show your partner who's going where. Okay, we swap, even though it's not necessary now since the meteors are not landing. Then we do the stack defam mechanic. I remember I'm stacked, so I'm just AFK on the west. I just need to remember I'm the west light party. Okay, just AFKing. Okay, then I go to the meteor that I remember. I'm on the left side. Actually, I just react to what meteor is coming, but I remember that I'm on the left side, that's all. I see there's a earth, so I just like move afterwards. Okay, I move. Okay, once the twister goes out, everyone to your Wicked Thunder positions. Okay, nice baiting. Okay, now the shot caller get ready to press his macros. Okay, also remember it's next will be Cardinal first or Intercut first. Later is East Island save. Yep, the usual things. Okay, so it's cardinal first. So remember for this strat, cardinal first, the stacks will always be east and north. Okay, go to the safe island and dodge the AoE. Okay, so this callout is away from boss, away from boss. Next will be intercut stacks. Go to stack. Then last clone, remember away from boss, away from boss. And it's done. Okay. Okay, good luck. See ya.